And with that, uh, anti-work. Anti-work. This was going to be the big thing before Ralph decided to get his fucking teeth smashed. I'm gonna watch this interview with you guys for the first time. I've seen a little bit of it, but it's 3 minutes long, and oops, and I did not watch it all the way through. So we're actually going to take a peek. We're gonna watch this together, chat, all the way through. I'm not good at cringe. I'm very bad at handling cringe, which may surprise people, but over one point. Okay, so to give you the gist, a rundown, there is a board on Reddit called Anti-Work, believe it or not. And Anti-Work is what used to be a board dedicated to like penny pinching and making money through odd jobs, but over time it became like an anti-capitalist, like I don't even know what to call it. It's basically like anti-capitalist in the U.S. But more, actually, that's not even fair. It's like it's split down the middle. It's one part is anti-capitalist, and the other part is work reform. They are people who work long hours. They have no benefits. They're treated like shit by their managers, and they believe that they should be treated better. And the other half is like retards who don't believe that work as a concept should exist and everything should be paid for by billionaires who get their surplus from thin air. So they held a poll and they said, we have been contacted by Fox News, and Fox News would like to talk to someone to represent our movement on Jesse Waters. And they held a poll, and the proletariat of the anti-work board said, don't send anyone. Are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking stupid? Do not send anyone to talk to Fox News. They are going to assassinate you at best. Like, that's it. So the janny trannies of the anti-work board said, actually, I have a degree in political science. I have been active in politics for 8 years as I've ran this anti-work board, and I'm going to go take Fox News head on, and this is the results of it.
Over 1.6 million subscribers. Joining me now is the person who operates this anti-work group, Doreen Ford. All right, so Doreen, why do you like the idea of being home, not working, but still getting paid by corporate America?
Yeah, so there's some misconceptions about the movement. So we're a movement where we want to reduce the amount of work that people feel like they're forced to do. And so we want to still put in effort, we want to put in labor, but we don't want to necessarily be in a position where we feel trapped. You just quoted from Office Space, where that person feels very trapped in their job. I think we're...
So, like, just notice already that this guy is obviously a man in lipstick. He looks terrible. He's in his shitty little room in bad lighting with a bad webcam, and he can't even look into the camera. Like, he's too autistic to look into the camera. Jesse Waters has, like, this unbroken gaze staring him directly down, and the Janny tranny is just, like, frozen, looking aside in shame. So I don't know how this person ever thought that he would have the capacity to, like, make a good impression on old people watching Fox News. Like, what? Why did this person think that he was the woman for the job, right? Why?
Calling for a society where there's less of that. Absolutely, people still want to do things. They just want to do things where they feel rewarded and they feel like life, and that their job respects them and stuff like that. There's varying.
So Doreen, but you're not being forced to work. This isn't slave labor. You've applied for a job, you've agreed to the terms and conditions of the employment, and you can walk away from that job at any time and quit. So I don't understand really what this is about, except it sounds like maybe people are just being lazy. Are you encouraging people to be lazy?
So I think laziness is a virtue in a society where people constantly want you to be productive 24/7.
laziness is a virtue. That's profound. Yes, our movement is about being lazy. That's like, okay, I get that what he's trying to do is like the meme, like the, are you trying to encourage people to be lazy? And it's like an angry chud on the left hand side, and then it's like the noble anarchist on the right hand side going, yes, laziness is a virtue. Unfortunately, I don't think laziness is a virtue in any society ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that there's ever been a religion or culture where laziness, like being a burden on society, has ever been extolled as like a virtue. Maybe in Greece.
And it's good to have rest. That doesn't mean you should be resting all the time or not putting effort into things that you care about. But I think one of the,
what do you think is like a good work day? How many hours is a solid work day in your ideal society?
Sure. I mean, I think as much as people want. I mean, I personally work. I have like a 25 hour work weeks, which I think is fairly good. So I would like less work hours.
And what do you do, Doreen?
Why do people keep saying Montenegro? The Montenegrin commandments? There's a maybe that's a racist thing. I think you guys are bullshitting. They're being subtly racist. Waters asks him, what does he do for a living? And he replies,
oh, I'm a dog walker.
He's a dog walker. So he works through an app, basically. And I think he says he works like 20 hours a week, and that's like enough for him.
A dog walker. Okay.
Yes.
And how?
So
how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure, I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay. And is there something you want to do besides being a dog walker? Do you aspire to do anything more than dog walking, or is that kind of your pinnacle?
Pinnacle. I've never seen Jesse Waters before because I don't watch fucking cable, but he sounds like the counselor from South Park, dog walker. Okay, do you want to do anything more than be a dog walker? Okay.
I love working with dogs. If I had to do this for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be super complaining. Dogs are wonderful animals. But I would love to teach. I would love to, work with people and stuff like that.
What would you teach, Doreen?
Philosophy mostly. Just introduction to philosophy, critical thinking, reason, stuff like that. Okay.
Well, I would love to take your class, Doreen. I would just be taking notes the whole time. And you know what? A professor's a very similar schedule than something that you're imagining. I think that actually might work perfectly.
He plays into like so many of the stereotypes that Fox News wants. Like, first of all, they want to portray all socialists as lazy. Boom, right off the bat, laziness is a virtue. And then he's like, okay, well, what do you do? Like, okay, you think that you're like a leader of like a movement. Well, what's your background? I walk dogs. I have no education. I have no aspirations. Or no, sorry, he does have aspirations. Like, what do you actually do? What are you educated in? And it's like, nothing. I do nothing. And it's like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to be a teacher. And that's like strike three. Oh, this person who does nothing, knows nothing, and thinks laziness is a virtue wants to be in our education system, which is also demonized by Fox News. They really could not find a better like freak to prop up to like strawman their enemies. And the really funny thing about it is that Fox News didn't like intentionally go fishing to find like the biggest retard possible to represent anti-work. So I mean, I guess if you like, someone was arguing in the thread about it, it's like if you really wanted to argue, like interview people who are frustrated with like the job system, you could just ask nurses and shit. But instead they go to Reddit because they know anyone that Reddit sends them is going to be a retard. But I mean, it's not like they had like a lineup of like 10 candidates and they picked the worst one. They asked the Reddit to send their best, and this is what they got.
You listen, I think this might not be the greatest idea, but who am I to judge? To each their own, they say. It's a free country.
Sure.
Not everything's free, but it is a free country. Thank you so much. Sure. We got to run. We got to pay the bills.
It's funny. Someone says that yes, they did. They asked for this guy, but the moderators said otherwise. The moderators said in his defense in the aftermath that this was the person that they decided collectively they would send to Fox News. You know, what's sad is that I feel like I could better represent what they want. You know, it wouldn't be necessarily like there's a lot of things that you see on the board and you're just like, yeah, fuck them. Like that's the entire point of like a voluntary system where labor is in demand, is like bosses like, okay, if you, I'm very like for not going to offices. Like if you can work online from home, you should be able to. That should be a thing afforded to most people unless their job requires them there. But it's like managers shouldn't be allowed to treat people like shit. Why would people like some of the stuff you see them posting about like their managers are telling them and how they talk to them and the videos of people like freaking out at like low wage staff. It's just like, yeah, fuck that. But then you get people like, we need more immigrants and sex work. Oh, they're anti-work, but they're pro-sex work, which is like hilarious. And I don't understand where these morals get decided. Like, why do the working class have to care about trannies? Why do they have to like care about prostitutes being allowed to whore themselves out on the internet and in real life? Why are they like pro-drug and stuff? It's hard to like ever support people like that because you read the other things that they're in favor of and it's like, actually, you know what, you're kind of retarded and I don't want anything to do with you. To be honest with you, all work is sex work. That's a hot take. A 40-hour sex week. So this happens and of course people are naturally furious. This is the reaction. NetK2 says needed to look in the camera and he says I have a tough time with that being autistic. Someone says, I'm curious, did you offer for an interview with the other mods beforehand? Did you all decide you were the best person to represent the subreddit on Fox News? If so, this might have been slightly misguided, no offense. And he says that the interview was given to the mods via mod mail, and they specifically asked for me. Oh, I guess I was wrong. I shared that with other mods, and they all agreed that I was never mind. I shared that with other mods, and they all agreed that I was probably the best to do because I've done other media. Someone replies, why in the holy shit balls would you agree to that? I fucking hate that asshole, but I looked it up and he chewed you and spit you out. More press for the movement, and they were going to air the segment either way, as far as I know. At least someone was there to contradict the narrative. But he didn't. He contradicted absolutely nothing about what people might think about an anti-work board. He just said, yeah, actually, I agree. Being lazy as fuck is awesome. And I want to teach your kids to be lazy little shits, too, if I can. And I'll teach your dogs to be lazy little shits. I'm not going to walk them. Walking is exploitation of the working class dog. I'm just going to sit that motherfucker on a park bench and take your money, bitch. Like, okay. What I get more from this sub is people wanting to be treated fairly by their employers and not treated like pieces of trash just to make them money. He flat out said it was just a bunch of lazy people that didn't work at all but wanted to get paid. Maybe I'm wrong here, but that's what I see this sub for. He's paid to paint pictures, so I don't doubt that. Mad respect for your courage. So he says, I'm not sure if it's courage or foolishness, but thank you. So the board freaks out. They say that this guy was a retard. This picture on the left is like what they use to, like, if you post on poll, that's what the left thinks that you look like, but he literally looks just like the Chud meme, which is pretty funny. It makes it look like a little bit of projection, maybe. The slap fight builds up, and in case you don't know, the user anti-work was like a owner mod of the whole Reddit. So when people start misgendering him because he seriously hurt their entire like shtick, he bans them and says, I was banned for misgendering, which you just he says, no, banned for misgendering me, which you just did again. He says, you sucked at your interview. And the person from the interview says, to summarize a complicated philosophy in seconds on live television with someone you know has the exact opposite ideas from you. They say he did damage. He says that he's lying on TV. Basically, it goes back and forth, and the result of this is the anti-work board goes private. And the reason for this is the moderators of the message changed at different times. It mentioned that they were locking down because so many people were making fun of them that they were getting flooded with like abuse. And they were just closing it for like a couple days. And I think they're already back up. and I'll get to that message that they put out in a second. But it turned out that the Doreen guy is like a rapist, and this is a message that he left on Facebook, saying, I guess clarifying something. I don't know when this was taken. It says yesterday, but it wouldn't make sense if they came out and made this comment. So I don't know if this is real, but I'll read it. The person accusing me of serial rape and I were involved in sexual conduct. The scenario involved alcohol on their part, but I had been informed multiple times that it wasn't a big deal. They said they were only tipsy and that they were consenting to what was happening. I took them at their word, and I'll be more responsible in the future when it comes to alcohol and sex. I'm unaware of who I've allegedly raped besides the person making the accusation. The only person I can think of is my previous partner. I take consent very seriously. I have a list of behaviors related to cuddling that I've been using for over a year. I'm trying my best to be... and this continues, but I think this is another post that they're referring to. A content warning abuse. I wrote this a long time ago in case the situation ever happened, and sadly here it is. I strive to be open and honest. Those who are close to me can verify that I exude those qualities more than any other. It's in the spirit that I make public certain past events within my life. If you feel as though you may not be able to... Whatever. I want to discuss a history I have. This person was with whom had an ongoing sexual relationship and living arrangement. Eventually a mix of fundamentally incompatible needs, past trauma unrelated to me, and my issues with impulsive control resulted in a very unhealthy dynamic between us. Due to my dislike of call-out culture, this person will remain anonymous. Avoid contacting this person, blah, blah, blah. I began sporadically masturbating while they slept next to me or by themselves. Even though they stated this made them feel uncomfortable, these events continued to happen until I sought help through therapy. I had woken up one morning with them laying next to me and remembering they felt uncomfortable with me masturbating next to them while they slept. I placed their hand over my boxers. They moved their hand away and thought nothing at what happened and fell back asleep. They later woke up and mentioned to me that they had a nightmare involving those series of events. I admitted that it had happened, apologized, and explained that I was half asleep and not in full control of my actions. Lastly, the previously mentioned coping mechanism resulted in this person creating alarms for us so that we wouldn't fall asleep together, and thus boundary violations would be minimized. Much to my retrospective disgust, my desperation for emotional intimacy led me to shut off the alarms at various points. When I learned how much this harmed this person, I soon went to therapy. Thereafter, I was better able to cope with my impulsive tendencies and thus consistently respect their boundaries. Resulting from my remorse, I made a financial contribution to an organization dedicated to helping people in alternative but abusive relationships. So that means that this is like a trans relationship, probably. There was discussion between me and the individual of helping with therapy costs. However, given my economic status and their insurance covered, we decided against this. It created an unhealthy dynamic as a way to improve myself. My relationship since then has been healthy and mutually beneficial as a result. These events have led me to suffer several symptoms of PTSD, sporadic suicidal ideation, and self-esteem loss. I jerked off next to someone and they got mad at me, and now I have PTSD. If he's cooming and the other guy starts jerking off in the video, he suffers like a PTSD flashback because it reminds him of the time that she jerked off onto an unsuspecting woman, in brackets. Throughout my life, I have striven to be a respectful and compassionate person, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 more bullshit. Shaming me in an attempt to show that my actions were wrong is both unproductive and unnecessary, as I'm well aware of my actions and their lack of morality. So that's funny. He's basically, I don't even know, I guess that's sexual assault, right? Like if you're ejaculating on someone, that's sexual assault. This is, by the way, this is the accusation that led to, and I'll prop this up real quick, that led to him making that statement to begin with. Assuming I can get this on my Firefox. I don't know why that downloads the pictures. I want it in my downloads directory. Okay, so referring to Doreen, Abolish Work has a couple of sexual assault rape allegations against her that she admitted on Facebook. That alone is worthy of removal. Adding the fact that she undermined a whole movement and made 1.8 million people look like a total joke, Doreen has no remorse or making the movement look bad and blames her autism for it. Newsflash, maybe an autistic person with very little PR skills should not go on national television claiming to be the leader of a group of almost 2 million people. Maybe an actual qualified person can go on instead. This is a great reply, by the way. A woman committing rape against another woman does not have the power dynamic present to justify calling it sexual assault or rape, especially considering that Doreen is developmentally delayed. She would not have been entirely aware of the situation before her, plus these are just allegations. 0 charges have been filed. She is completely exonerated. Wow, I sure feel bad for this subreddit of intelligent people. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, but if you can't kick the retard trannies out of your fucking movement, then you deserve to work for $7.25 an hour, every hour, 80 hours a week for the rest of your life. That's just how it is. If your movement is made up of retards and you can't do anything about it and you can't get the retards out of your movement, then you don't deserve to win. You deserve to work for nothing for the rest of your life. Like, if these people were just like, what we want is a workplace that pays a fair amount for our labor. We want no immigration or reduced immigration, skill-based immigration. And we don't want trannies. Like, I don't know, I could go for that. It's like if you take the best of socialism and nationalism and kind of blend it together, you got something that's pretty special. But I don't think that they'll ever do that for some reason. My disbelief is suspended when I start thinking about this. And I don't know why. There's just something about it that just seems off. Social nationalism. Yeah, something like that. No, but you can't. It's funny. It's like a thing in our brains. Like, once you start putting the two together, you would think it's peanut butter and jelly, but then you're like, oh, no. That's actually wrong. We either have to be full retard or you're just like a bad person. That's it. There's no middle ground here. Sotnak. Okay, so what they do, by the way, is they make a big thing and they say restructuring in recent events, mega thread, and it's too fucking long. I'm not going to read it. But the gist is that they say, oh no, we made an oopsie doodle. We had a little bit of a fucky wucky and we're going to fix it. So we got rid of you anti-work. And from what I understand, the two people that they got rid of were both the founders of the sub. So they had to like contact Reddit administration and say, hello, the pedophiles at the top. This is a janny revolution that we're having here, and we kind of need, a coup d'etat. We need to get rid of the other trannies that were running this board because they're problematic and they rape people by jerking off onto unconscious trannies. And they're like, okay, well, we'll take care of that for you. Make sure you pick new mods to replace them so that your board runs fine. And they're like, okay, we do. We got just the person. We got White Pirate 15. Who post on gay incest. I would just be like, so I guess you failed No Nut November. I guess I find that really interesting. I have to think about this some more. Thanks for replying. I'm new to this whole incest thing, but I can't imagine walking in on my parents having sex, let alone them walking in on me. How public? Like, will you be in a park trailer or what? And I think that one of them posts in like the bestiality sub. And the really awesome thing about... I think I have another pic. No, I do not. One of the people who came back, who were moderated, is like a brand new account. So I think if you go to the Reddit right now and you look at like top from this week, one of the top tweets is just like a meme about how their new moderators are the same fucking people, but with brand new accounts so that nobody gets mad. So basically, these people got a little microcosm of the communism that they wanted. They started a revolution because they have... No, other way around. A bunch of retarded, mentally ill degenerates laid the groundwork for this thing. And then people with actual grievances attached to it. They got power. And then because of their retards in the administration that they put above them, it all collapsed in a very short amount of time. And now they're worse off than they were before because every boomer who just saw that segment thinks, actually, these people don't deserve any rights or any money whatsoever. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. I knew I should have had this. This is what I was thinking of. I'm sorry. One of the mods that they promoted is is a moderator for R rape, which is like a sexual assault survivor thing. But chances are that they're like a tranny, and they're there because they want to they want to get closer to women who have been like sexually victimized, so that they can be weird towards them. Because that's what they all do. They all want to. It's a scheme. It is a scheme by straight men to lure women into a false sense of security so that they can fuck with them. So this person is from our Secret Subject Hypnosis. Welcome to the community page for the Secret Subject, a professional femdom from New Zealand. The Secret Subject knows the right buttons to push to get you into trance and into her control. This is the place for real erotic hypnosis, BDSM, ASMR, and technique, and created to transcend you to new depths and exploring kink. What can I say? Like what you like proudly. I love pain. Monica got turned into a step forward bimbo. Am I a lesbian? Master Doc. Hypno community. I am the top mod for R rape. And a mod for contra points. Oh no. The well is so deep. They go from face eating to lap cats when you know how to deal with them. They just kind of give up trying to hate you and realize that, yes, they do love pets. Okay, whatever. Good luck with your movement, retards. You could have avoided this by not using Reddit. I don't know. I mean, look, what do you do? Okay, you're like Joe Blow, and you get paid $8 an hour. I recently got a notification from one of the services I rely on that they're charging more for my VPSs because inflation's too high. And they're in Europe where inflation isn't as bad. So it's like, okay, so inflation is driving up the price of everything. People can't afford homes. You get less than 40 hours a week, so you get no benefits whatsoever. And even though there's like a labor shortage, it's only because the government is paying people to stay at home. And they're going to continue importing immigrants to replace you. And you can't criticize immigrants because then you would be branded as a xenophobe Trump supporter. And you can't criticize women in the workforce because women need to work because they need financial independence because a single man cannot afford to support a family anymore. Like, what do you do? They go, okay, we'll go online and we'll unionize and shit. And then it's like, oh, my community is ran by fucking freaks. And now everyone's making fun of me. And I guess I'll just die. Sucks. I'm very thankful that I don't have to do any of this. Though I don't know, if like the forum closes because the government decides to explode it with a bomb or something, then I'm going to have to like enter the workforce, and the workforce for me is like development. I don't know if I can keep my fucking mouth shut anymore. I can't imagine being in like a Skype call with like trannies, and it's like, hello, my name is Doreen. I am the senior developer. I'm the JavaScript developer for our company. I take my job very seriously, and I want to make it clear that transphobia is not allowed. And if you are transphobic, you will be fired on the spot. I was like, oh. No, thank you. And people are in that situation. They just have to put up with this shit. Though some people choose it.